Accelerate your Sitecore website delivery with Sitecore SXA, which will be delivered by Chaturanga Ranatunga. Can I hear a big round of applause? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This session is in progress.
So, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to my session, Accelerate Development using Sitecore SXA. So, it will be little bit hard to see some of the slides or the present because we couldn't find a way to split the screen. So, I am splitting the screen from my machine. So, sorry about that. So, so in this presentation, I will talk about my experience about how I learn XSA and how I try to implement it, and the outcome of the that implementation. So this will be I have captured the screen recording also. So just to show you how I achieved the goal. So a little bit about me. I am Chaturanga. I am working as a freelance consultant, and I am a Sitecore technology MPP, and also I am from Sri Lanka, nearby country. So in the presentation, we will you will see I will run the time lapse for the SXA build, and then we will discuss some features and what are the outcome of the time lapse or the SXA build. Yep. So little bit about the time lapse I built. I use XSplit for the recording, and editing I use iMovie, and it will be playing in 8x speed. And for the XSA I am using 1.8 and Sitecore 9.1. Okay. So as you can, if you can see, I am just initially setting up the tenant and the XSA sites. So it is like you cannot clearly see it, but so it is like they have provided PowerShell scripts, so you can quickly set up those things. And little bit about the experience while it is running in the background. I will talk about little bit about the XXA. So it is a set of tools that Sitecore has provided to speed up the Sitecore website delivery process. So for example, earlier if you start a Sitecore project, we will have to, every site will have carousel, promo component, navigation component, like that. So with XSA, they will pre-build those components. At the moment, they will have like 80 components. You can directly use it. So and it is fully Helix compliant, and also it provides a way to export and import your designs. So you can, for example, in earlier implementation, what we did was we asked the digital agency to send us a HTML initially, or with the CSS and everything. Then we build our components. In this XSA implementation, what will happen is we will do our initial setup and use our components, and we will export that. Yeah, so it will provide HTML, CSS and SAS files, and we will package it and send it to the design agency, and they will change that to get the new design that we want, and they will send that back to us, so we can use it again. And XSA is developed as a mobile first, and also it provides little bit drag and drop functionality. So here you will see is I have already set up the site, and for example, we have a header and footer. So there is a concept called partial designs. So you can design your headers and footers separately, and you will be able to add them into your site later. So and I'm now done with the header and footer. I have added it to the page, and I am doing some adding some pre-built components from the SXA. Okay. So, few of the components that comes with SXA, not only the promo components, navigation, those are not only comes they are like you will get metadata component, Google Analytics, social share, FPV icon, those component also comes with the SXA setup. So, you do not have to worry about any of those also. And for example, sitemap, robot and redirects module, those are also pre-built into the SXA. So, you do not have to, I mean those are the common things where that we repeatedly do for every site. So, we do not have to spend our time much on this with SXA. So, here as you can see, I will show you a design little bit. So, this is actually the site I am trying to build. Is this one I actually microsite that I did few years back with normal implementation. So, I wanted to try what will happen if I try it with SXA. So, this site design is as you can see, it is a very simple microsite, few same kind of designs. So, I am going to build this site here. So, that is why I am going to build. So, little bit talk about the process or with the development process or the delivery process with the SXA. So, in earlier implementations that we did, we in a normal way if we do without SXA, what we had was we initially decide on a visual design, then we had send it to the front end team and ask them to deliver the HTML, and then until that we might be able to do some configurations and setting up the projects. Until we receive the HTML, we cannot proceed with the components. So, then once we get the HTML, we start the backend, and after the backend finish, components are done, we start on the content entry. Okay. So, but with SXA, what will happen is we start the user experience, then the visual design is done. Meanwhile, the visual design is done, we can start on content entry because we already have those necessary components with us. So, we can I mean if we have the wireframes, even though you do not have a exact design, you can start adding these components, setting up your footer, header, those and adding those. As you can see, I still do not have the design, I am still using the default SXA design or theme and adding my components. So, and then in the if you create a few pages, headers, footers, and then you can export it and send it to the front end. So, while the front end is also working, you can continue work on your content entry or page design, and if you have any backend work, you can also do that, but in this implementation I did not. So, here you can see I did the export and I am just showing the HTML that export. You will get CSS, SAS files and HTML. I have sent that HTML export to the front ender, and he is working on his design here, and I am still working simultaneously working on the back end. So, right side you will see the front ender is working on that exported package and doing some style changes that necessary. Meanwhile, I am still continue on back end or the adding components. So, as you can see, this process, most of the development back end, front end can be done in the same time. So, it is quicker to deliver the product and everything. It will build the, once you edit the SAS files, it will convert them to CSS and just package it and send it. That is all the front end has to do. So, it is that easy, and there is a process called Exchange Live. It will say that here what I did was I manually imported, okay, this is the imported process where I try to import that package. So, in this process I got some issues with the implementation with the item name. So, I had to do some configuration adjustment to get it work. So, but once the import is done, it is like a simple import. So, the only thing you see extra is those errors that I got. So, I need to talk with the SXA team about that. So I am talking about the Creative Exchange Live. Here I am doing the manual process, export it and import it. There is another process called Creative Exchange Live, where you can adjust the CSS or SAS files. Those files will be automatically updated to your Sitecore instance. So, that is also there if you want to use it. It is much more easier, much faster, because you do not have to import it manually. So, I will run this. So, here what I do is there is a after I receive the package, there I needed to add backend developer can add more styles into it. For example, the say that front ender cannot target only a certain component only with the CSS. If you want to add the CSS class into a component, there is a facility also provided by Sitecore where you can replace some certain place, and once the import is done, we can just go there and add the style for those components and use it to, I mean, there is some simple configurations, but it is possible to target a specific HTML or a specific component also. So, as you can see, once I first got it, I got the carousel and everything is working as I needed. So, here I am doing some final changes. Okay. And as you can see, this is like a 2.5 hours video. So, finally, I got sitemap also working, robot text and metadata, everything working. I can show you a little bit about the working site. So, for example, this is after the import. So, I mean, this is 3 hours of work altogether, and you got this full working site SXA on SXA build. So, you have the menu and everything, you have the carousel, and search also pre-built comes with Sitecore. You just have to do some configurations. So, how to get started? I also started like few weeks back. So, I just want to give you about my journey. That's why I did record the screen recording. So, there's some helpful videos on YouTube, unofficial SXA training tutorials done by the community guys. You can refer those also, and you have Slack channel for in the Sitecore Slack. There is SXA channel and also Stack Exchange. You can put your questions. One thing I learned, because even though with these resources there is a gap in some from which I face as a problem. So, one community member pointed me into this showcase package, which is done by the same Adam, who is the SXA creator. He has done a showcase package. It is like a launch Sitecore site for normal Sitecore development, where it has full site build on SXA. So, you can just download this package and install it on your local and go through that SXA showcase site and learn how the configuration has been done, how the parameters has been changed. Those kind of things can be learned from that, installing that package and explore that one. Yep, that's it for my presentation. If you have any questions, happy to answer. Okay, thank you guys.